Alright, you are filming now?
Yes.
Alright, so hello, welcome to my new channel. My name is Melanie. I'm a twin flame, and I'm an ascension guide. For those that are at the beginning of their spiritual pursuit, today's topic is the dark night of the soul. Especially twin flamers have heard this term, but I'm pretty sure everybody has gone through it at some point. So what is the dark night of the soul anyway? The term comes from Roman Catholicism. It has its origins, centuries ago, and it's used to describe essentially the abandonment from God. You know, when people hit a personal rock bottom, and they feel like their soul has been abandoned. They feel a dark depression that's like not normal depression. You know, it's like an all-consuming, like no matter what you do, you just can't fix it. Just, you know, your worlds come crashing down on you, and you can't describe the despair. And that's the dark night of the soul. Now, people that are in the process of spiritual ascension, they tend to go through the dark night of the soul as a cycle. And, when I talk about cycles, especially the accumulation and the purge, the accumulation, the loss, the material purges that happen, these can be both cause and symptom of the dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul is the immaterial gain and loss. This is the internal feeling of, I have lost something that is essential to my well-being. And this feeling of abandonment, this is almost I don't want to say almost everybody's, but it's the primary core wound that I've seen in myself as well as other people. And when I say core wound, it also goes by the term sacred wound. This has to do with solving a core part of your entity, and what makes you you, what makes you feel whole, what makes you feel like you're not abandoned. So what forms does abandonment take? Even for the non-religious, abandonment can be often a childhood wound where we felt we didn't get enough love from a parent. This could also come from relationships. It could be a fidelity issue where you fear that every partner you ever are with, that they're going to leave, possibly for someone else, or just leave because it's not you, it's that, whatever the reason. But the abandonment wound has to do with a fear of being left behind. And this can also take a general form, if not personal like that, but this could be a societal abandonment as well. This can cover pretty much everything when it comes to racial inequality, equality at the workplace, or abandonment for being your gender or whatever you believe in. Abandonment takes all forms. It simply means that you feel you're not getting the validation and the love that you expect or think that you deserve from other people. So how do we solve this? I would like to believe we can rephrase the problem here. The fear of abandonment, excuse me, the fear of abandonment is the fear of your personal freedom. I'm not accusing, anybody of not wanting to be free. Everybody believes that they want to be free, but do you? When we think about freedom, what does freedom mean? Supposedly America is a free country, and there are a lot of countries that are considered free as well, but what does freedom mean to you personally? Does freedom mean that you can move anywhere in the country that you would like? Does freedom mean that you can choose your partners based on everything that you are looking for in someone, and not having to tolerate some bad with the good? What does freedom mean as far as you being able to control your outcome? And so if we were to rephrase this problem here and think about it in a way where I am not abandoned by my family or by partners because, they are different entities outside of me and they don't owe me anything. And conversely, it also means they're not obligated to me and I'm not obligated to them. So the abandonment wound has everything to do with you abandoning yourself. And this goes into shared literature and with other twin flame teachers like Jeff and Shalia, when we talk about, what is abandoning ourself. When we expect some kind of validation from someone outside of us, and this could be twin flame, parents, again, colleagues, society in general, instead of, internally validating ourselves and giving ourselves back our freedom. So how can we heal this core wound? It can come down to a very, very hard but very basic question. Do you want to be free? And this is something that your ego may struggle with, because the ego would say, of course I'm free, of course I can do whatever the heck I want to do. But then, then that people-pleasing reflex will kick in whenever you're faced with, those folks, like your parents or your boyfriend or girlfriend. You face those social situations and you feel obligated. And then that's going to pull at your abandonment wound again. If you feel that you're not coming even in a way that you believe you're supposed to be there for someone else. Because then that creates this demand for reciprocity. That creates this demand where you believe, well, I'm such a good person to the people around me. I do everything for them, and I believe that they should be there for me too. And then when they're not, guess what? This can send you back into a dark night of the soul, or even, I want to say miniature dark nights of the soul. I think we've all had like a 1-day meltdown that still counts, or even a 1-hour meltdown that still counts. And these episodes where we get all this high anxiety and this upset with these temporary feelings of abandonment, I used to think that this was how life was when I was in my relationships. I had chaotic relationships where we were equally toxic for each other, we needed each other, and we would feel abandoned over the smallest things that our partner was not doing for each other. I would feel abandoned if there was a gift that was revoked, if I was reminded that it was his house or his car or his phone plan. These things would make me feel the inequality and the abandonment, like I needed to be validated again because he just removed that validation. And this can also go into sexual deprivation. There are so many forms that abandonment and withdrawal can take. And it can only be healed when you decide for yourself that you are a free entity, but then you must also give them their freedom too. You have to give society their freedom. Once you do that, once you realize that you can create this separation between yourself, your body, them, their body, their thoughts, your thoughts, that we don't have to be in agreement about politics or religion, and we don't have to be going to the same place and attached at the hip to be in a relationship. When you decide to free yourself and free other people to truly, everybody is responsible for themselves, everybody is doing what they want to do, that will take you to a place of no expectation. And this comes back to the first video when I talk about the concept of entitlement versus deserving. So does abandonment also come from entitlement? I'm gonna theorize yes it does. When we feel entitled to somebody else's love for being what we are, and we are definitely entitled to love, but it is a love that we, should be getting from ourselves. So the abandonment wound happens when you have a failure to love yourself, but you somehow expect society or a partner or your parents to do it for you. And over time, as I healed, the dark nights of the soul became less and less until finally they disappeared altogether. And now I think, there are still some small upsets in my life. I'm not drama free. I think everybody, we still have chaos happen, but I want to say that the reactions are far less than they were before. When some kind of stuff hits the fan these days, now I'm able to take a step back and think, I know how I would have reacted a couple years ago. It would have ruined my day, could have ruined my week. But when I decide to take a step back and think, this is not personal, this person or this situation is not a personal affront to me, it's just the way life is happening because I set it free so that, I'm not expecting a certain type of harmony to exist 24/7. It's just we have to learn to live in harmony despite the chaos. So having this separation between you and the world, creating a healthy boundary so that you're not associating your personal value with the chaos around you. Because, people can feel abandoned when they lose their phone or their car gets damaged. I just witnessed a lady have a meltdown a matter of months ago. The neighbor backed into one of my roommate's cars, and she was having this huge dark night moment in front of me and the whole street, blasting us for having so many cars in our house. It was definitely a Karen, and she was somehow trying to work it in a way where it's not her fault. And I was there in a relatively good mood, and I was there to give her a hug and assurance, saying that things happen, things happen. And then she went into the fear that her husband was going to be so mad and verbally abusive if she brought that news home to him. And this showed me in my mind that this abandonment wound was happening for her because she feared the love being revoked temporarily because of this car accident. And I have seen this drama in my own relationships before, and that's not something we want for ourselves. We don't want to feel like we are walking on eggshells, expected to be perfectionists. Everybody's going to get into a car accident. Everybody's going to accidentally forget to do a chore. And, these things do not merit judgment of yourself. Forgive yourself, love yourself, tell yourself that it is okay. And also accept responsibility, because, the other side effect of this abandonment wound is that people tend to deny it even further by somehow making it not their fault, when there was no fault to begin with. So, let's see. Do you have any questions for me, Alicia?
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah. I have my friend, my roommate Alicia filming, and I'm looking for a little more content to add here. Let's see. And to go into my further, my progress with myself as far as the physical accumulation, this will help with the permanence, as well as this has a beneficial effect both ways. When you're able to heal internally, coming off the last video, when it creates less anxiety for you, when this stuff happens, you're able to let things roll off your back. You no longer feel abandoned by the people around you, and you're able to feel this great freedom, this great independence, just being you, doing your thing. When I discovered this freedom for myself, it took me leaving the East Coast for the West Coast. I left my whole family behind. They're in Pennsylvania, and I left my mentors in Virginia, and I left the love of my life in Virginia as well. And physically leaving behind that baggage was also emotionally leaving it behind. I used to feel abandoned by my own parents, and I used to feel abandoned by my twin flame. If I was texting or calling, trying to make an appointment to hang out or see somebody, if I didn't get a response back in a somewhat timely manner, being ghosted by someone definitely felt like abandonment to me. And then I had to experience the flip side. I had to experience the flip side where I got out on my own and I was truly happy with my life. And then people are coming out of the woodwork into my phone, and people are starting to come to me with their problems, And then I start to look at it like, I have the freedom to not care about this. And sometimes that's healthy. When you realize that drama comes knocking at your door, once you've become able to handle your own, the universe is going to start sending people that will come to you for assistance, and you're going to have that freedom to make that call, whether it's a good idea to soothe them or not, whether you can be a helping hand, or whether you think that they're best discovering it on their own, like you did. So the more I heal, the more I also feel able to empower other people, so that they don't need to lean on me either, much as I don't need to lean on them. And that starts to foster more healthy and independent connections, where everybody is coming to the table happy and responsible. All of a sudden I don't feel like I'm the roommate that gets called for a ride late at night because we've got some, drunk people that need a free lift, for example. I mean, those are like little first world problems in my mind now. Like they could definitely order an Uber or a Lyft, or they have some other option besides burdening me. And sometimes that'll be polarizing. Sometimes when you realize that you have the right to say no to people, that's gonna cause them to go through a triggering moment. They're gonna feel abandoned by you, perhaps, until they come to the fact that you're not responsible for them either, that they have a choice, much as you had a choice. We all have a choice to take care of ourselves and our own emotions, and to not make someone else responsible for ours, and to not be responsible for someone else's either. I've seen symptoms of abandonment issues in the non-spiritual people, where for example, I've met a lot of people that seem to be animal hoarders. They tend to accumulate more dogs or cats than, even more than they can technically care for themselves. Their house gets filthy. And it's like, why do they have so many animals? They gotta have so many fur babies because they're trying to fill a void where their abandonment issue is taking hold. They're trying to get the unconditional love, filled by these animals, and God forbid you take away their emotional support animal, they're going to have a meltdown. They've come to the point of dependence where they need these animals, or they need whatever it is they're using to fill the gap, instead of taking that process to heal internally, where they don't need anybody, they don't need something. So during my journey, I've been a professional dog breeder. I've had to practice the art of giving away puppies, giving away dogs. And I think the first litter was the hardest, of course. You want to keep them all. But I've practiced the art of detachment with people. So detachment is the solution to curing this abandonment wound, as well as manifesting outcomes when it comes to material things. If you watch all these manifestation videos, they talk about the importance of detachment, because if you are attaching yourself to a certain result, you are creating resistance to it, and that it may or may not happen. This, I believe, also applies to the abandonment wound with people, that when you are attached to them, you are also creating an energetic resistance with them, where they can feel your neediness on the other end of that connection. You send them a text message when you're accompanied by your high-level anxiety, and they feel that burst of anxiety when they look at their phone and it's you. And, I'm sure you felt that way on the other end. So learning how to detach can be as simple as first getting a handle on when you choose to communicate with people. If you know that you're experiencing a rough day, now is not a good time to energetically burden someone else. You have the strength to process this on your own. Listen to a meditation video, or call up a friend who is willing to let you vent. Because there is also an exchange that can happen with permission. I'm merely talking about the ways in which we unduly burden people when they aren't asking for your drama, and we burden them anyway. So of course, we can develop strong friendships with people, and they understand the emotional undertaking when you're having a rough day, and you ask them, "Can I talk to you about it?" And they say yes, and then by all means, let it go. But otherwise, when it comes to the people that you care most about, if they're happy, if they're living life, it's like, I know you want to feed off of that positive energy of theirs, but think about the negative energy that you're asking them to take on for you. Let's see, I'm trying to think of anything else. But yes, I'm definitely available in the comment box. If you watched my video and you'd like to talk more about the cycle of abandonment and how we can keep healing from that, I'm probably going to make multiple videos about that, because I know that was the single hardest aspect of my journey to overcome. A lot of folks have tried to process the dark night of the soul by resorting to material things, and especially with the twin flame journey, this can come in the forms of unhealthy drinking habits or promiscuity. In general, just trying to focus on distractions to take away the pain rather than going internally to find the cause and heal that. And when we do that, we get temporary relief, but the dark night of the soul is going to keep coming back for more later. And each time it happens, if it continues to happen to you, at least try to gauge whether it's lessening or worsening. Try to see where you're at, to see if they're becoming worse or if they're becoming better. And you'll know if you're taking the right steps or not to improve it, if you're making it worse or not. So think about the ways in which you cope with the stress in your life. Think about the ways that you interact with people in healthy or unhealthy ways, and the ways in which you feel fulfilled when nobody is around. This abandonment wound is not something that anybody else can work out for you, and that, I think, is the greatest soul lesson, that if you want to be a whole being, you must be able to undertake this great thing by yourself. So that's where I'm going to leave it for today. I know that I'm not, in an incredibly smiley mood during these couple videos here. It's not for being nervous or a lack of comfort, but I know we're addressing some really hard to address topics. And I've followed these yogis that are already in a state of great enlightenment and joy. And I think that there's got to be a beginner step, because when I started my journey, I didn't have someone to address to me how the journey starts, and I know that it's counterintuitive to the advice saying you can do this yourself, but yes, part of doing that yourself is coming upon these videos. Rather than interacting personally with the world around you at home, doing this by yourself doesn't mean doing it by yourself as in like getting no spiritual advice from others. It just means, keep your energy to yourself at home. If you're gonna process your stress and stuff, go to the gym, listen to a meditation, listen to me or any of the spiritual advisors online, because they can give you advice in a way that is not taking on your energy. I've got miles away from you. I've got this great internet barrier between me and you, so we can interact successfully without me experiencing your dark night or you experiencing my world either. So this great undertaking is you coming upon the advisors and the advice that resonates most with you, and then also coming into your own intuition, until at some point you don't need to look up YouTube videos. You don't need to meditate nearly as often before, and all these stress relieving practices. You'll find that the more you heal, the less time you'll need to waste each day doing that. I think I used to take hours every day listening to videos and looking up info, because it took me hours of that stuff to bring me out of the mood that I was in, to bring me back to some measure of peace. And I think the more successful we are at healing ourselves, we can cut down on that time and then make the most of life. Then we can just only have like a quickie 20-minute meditation every day, and we're good to go. We're back in action. So it's my goal with these videos to help us all heal in ways that reduce the time we need to take stress relieving measures so that we can go out there and begin experiencing life. So if you thought this was awesome, please like, subscribe, follow me, and there will be more tomorrow. Have a great day.